Creating a powerful data story starts right at the beginning of the data analysis process by clearly defining our objective, gathering the right data, performing thorough, mistake-free analysis. We lay the groundwork for uncovering compelling insights. But even with a well-formed story in our mind, we still must design a visual to effectively communicate it to our audience. This is where common chart elements come into play. Despite their common appearance, these elements can be surprisingly complex to implement. Well-crafted titles and headlines, effective labels, informative annotations, and purposeful visual cues all work together to effectively communicate our intended message. Let's break down the second rule of effective Dataviz and learn how each of these components play a role in delivering a clear message today on Art+Science. Hey there, I'm Kevin Hartman, Associate Professor at the University of Notre Dame and founder of the Art+Science Analytics Institute, where our mission is to make you a better data analyst. As we discussed in a previous video in this series on the rules of effective Dataviz, the first thing your audience will see when you present a chart is contrast. Hopefully, you've designed that contrast in a sophisticated way that kicks off the message you're hoping to deliver. But after the chart's visual contrast has been processed, your audience doesn't begin analyzing the data, they begin reading. Titles, headlines, labels, and annotations are where they will start. Get these elements right and your audience will grasp your insight clearly and thoroughly, but get them wrong and you risk confusion, frustration, or perhaps worst of all, misinterpretation. In this video, we will break down how to craft clear titles and headlines, use labels and annotations effectively, and incorporate visual cues that enhance, not clutter, your message. One of the most critical tasks for analysts is to create thoughtful and purposeful titles and headlines for their charts. Although virtually every data visualization includes them, titles and headlines are often taken for granted, or perhaps worse, they are written in the wrong way. Titles play an incredibly important role in engaging audiences. They are typically the first thing the audience will read, which gives the analyst a golden opportunity to make a strong first impression. A good title should be placed above the chart and aligned to the left of the chart, bolded, and set in a larger font than the other elements, such as labels and annotations, on the chart to ensure that the title stands out and is read before the additional text. What's the purpose of the title? To answer one simple question for your audience. What am I looking at here? For example, sales of product X over the last 5 years immediately informs the viewer about the chart's focus, orients them without any extra effort. In contrast, a title like, "How have we performed lately?" leaves the audience with more questions than answers regarding the scope and the specifics of the data being discussed. It doesn't answer the question, what am I looking at here? Every chart should also include a headline. When presenting a standalone visualization, the headline can be positioned directly beneath the title and above the chart. However, often in presentations, the headline takes the top spot on the page, what we call a lead. The headline succinctly captures the core insight the analyst wants the audience to grasp. It answers for that audience the second question that will pop into their head. What does this chart say? Essentially, the headline tells the viewer what they should take away from the chart. And it's there in writing to present that takeaway so that it is unambiguous and can't be misconstrued. Importantly as well, it's there in writing with the chart when the analyst can't be there to present the chart in person. Like the title, the headline should be clear and unambiguous. Avoid acronyms, abbreviations, or jargon. For instance, a headline such as "Last year's profits offset losses from the previous 4 years" immediately communicates the chart's message. On the other hand, a vague headline like "We are doing great," though simple, fails to tie directly to the data shown, leaving the viewer with lingering questions rather than clear insight. Together, titles and headlines combine to clearly communicate a chart's most important information before the audience begins investigating the presented data. Once titles and headlines are in place, it's essential to consider other design elements that deliver the supporting data for the chart's message. To make sure that message is clear and that viewers concentrate on the right visual elements, analysts must avoid unnecessary distractions that might divert attention elsewhere. One major distraction is the chart legend or key, which is common in many charts, often positioned in the upper right-hand corner. Its intent is to decode the colors, lines, and symbols used in the chart. However, separating the legend from the main visual can confuse the audience, forcing them to constantly shift their focus between the chart to the legend and then back again. This extra mental effort drains their attention. A better solution is to incorporate direct labeling on the chart. Place labels directly on the elements, whether those are lines, slices of a pie chart, or bars, and keep the wording brief to maintain clarity. Coordinating label colors with their corresponding data, for example, pairing a blue label with a blue bar, leverages immediate visual perception, helping the audience quickly connect the dots. Direct labeling ensures the message is delivered without distraction. Annotations further enhance the visualization by providing extra context for difficult-to-understand data points. When placed near the relevant features and connected by a thin line or arrows, annotations effectively guide the audience's focus while reinforcing the chart's overall message. Think of annotations as brief visual cues, short sentences or phrases that add context and explain data patterns, distinct from labels. In more complex visuals or where insights are more subtle, annotations help connect evidence that supports the main message presented in the headline. Visual cues are effective tools to draw attention to significant data points and trends in our data. These elements function as immediate, pre-attentive attribute signals that the brain picks up immediately to grab attention and communicate messages subconsciously. By incorporating tastefully designed arrows or boxes or light gray shading onto our charts, we can effectively draw attention to specific pieces of information that are encoded with meaning. However, it is important not to overuse these visual cues. Limiting them to one per chart ensures that the key information stands out rather than blending into a cluttered display. When too many elements are highlighted, nothing distinct truly captures audience's attention. In summary, creating effective visualizations that contribute to your overarching data story is about incorporating clear titles, compelling headlines, precise labels, informative annotations, and strategically applied visual cues. Each of these components play a vital role in capturing the viewer's attention and clearly communicating the chart's intended message. Every element must be carefully designed to enhance the overall narrative derived from your data. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, take a moment and subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share it with anyone who you think is interested in data analytics. Every single week, we are bringing new, exciting, and important videos on data analytics to this channel. We would love to have you there for the journey. Also, be sure to check out the links in the description for additional art science resources and sign up for our newsletter to get exclusive tips, course updates, and more directly in your inbox. Look for the next video where we will close out this series on the rules of effective Dataviz by discussing Rule 3, refined execution. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next video.